That now the new charges that officers now face in Baltimore mean all eyes are on the city tonight. And with this being so close to home, of course, we also want to know what's next. CBS legal analyst Todd Stone is here now. And are you surprised there wasn't a grand jury? Does that mean that these charges were so obvious that, I mean, is the government making a statement by not doing it that way?
I think that is a lot of it, yes. Usually there's a grand jury that considers these cases because in these police officer cases, they're usually closer, you know, it's a closer call. So they put it to the grand jury and let a grand jury decide. Here, this prosecutor came out and made a statement that was very adamant, and she obviously believes this is an egregious case and has chosen to go ahead and charge it.
Is it tough for a prosecutor in a case like this? Because usually the prosecutor is working hand in hand with officers who are, you know, part of that side of the case, you know, going after criminals.
Yeah, I mean, they always work very closely together. I mean, the police are the prosecutor's witnesses, you know, 99% of the time. And so, but the actual motion to recuse, or it wasn't a real motion to recuse, it was a letter asking her to recuse herself, came from the fraternal order of police president, and so he was suggesting that she was being too tough on the police officers, whereas, you know, I guess, you know, if she were to be, prosecutors don't get recused for being too aggressive normally. So, and they represent the state, you know, they're not representing an individual victim. She's representing the state of Maryland in a crime against society, against the people, and that's who elected her. So normally she would be the one to prosecute the case, and so it's a pretty tough thing to get them recused.
Real quickly, the charges, did they surprise you? And there was one that many of us have not heard of, depraved heart murder.
Yeah, we don't talk about that much here in Virginia, but I would say a good analogy that might be easier to understand is if you take a vehicle and drive it into a crowd of people, you know somebody's going to get hurt and maybe killed, and you're deliberately making an act. So they charged the driver of the vehicle, the police officer who drove the vehicle, with allowing him to be, you know, bouncing around in this metal cage in the back in handcuffs, because he made the deliberate act of driving that vehicle
in that manner
and putting him at risk.
Okay,
yes.
all right,
Yep.
Todd, thanks so much. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about as this goes on. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Rob?